Hi there, and welcome to another Cigar Advisors Cigar Panel Review, coming to you from the red carpet room high atop the Hotel Lafayette in downtown Easton. I'm Gary Korb, and later I have a meeting with an attractive Russian attorney. Today we're going to be smoking this H. Upmann Mogul. It's a brand new cigar. It's a new famous smoke shop, and it is rolled to a 6x50 format. And it is made with a Nicaraguan, Dominican, and Peruvian long filler blend. The Ligero is the Peruvian, and this gives it a little spice. And the wrapper is a beautiful Connecticut Broadleaf. So, today with us on the panel are the usual suspects. He just returned from LA, where he was working as a stand-in for Zac Efron, Mr. Fred Lunt.
Wow.
Go see Dirty Grandpa, folks.
Wow, that's funny. You're on High School Musical 7 now?
Yeah, it's great. Vanessa Hudgens.
He worked his way through college as a towel boy for the Spartacus Bathhouse in the East Village. The one and only Tommy Z Man.
Hey, I only took tips. Learn from the best.
He once fought off a mugger by using a souvenir Harry Potter magic wand. Mr. John Culo. And there you have it.
Was it the kind that light up?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. So, as I said, we're smoking the H. Upmann Mogul. This is new. It's a nice retro 60s kind of box packaging on that too. And it is made with a Nicaraguan and Dominican filler, as I said, with a Peruvian Ligero. Gives it a little strength. And I'm getting a lot of nice sweetness out of the cigar right now. And which is what I like. And I had one over the weekend, and it was pretty consistent. It started off kind of sweet and nice, and I guess mellow in a way.
I'm thinking, Gary, that sweetness is the Connecticut Broadleaf.
It's got to be, yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's the constant every time you smoke a cigar with a good, thick, dark Connecticut Broadleaf. You always get that sweetness.
Yeah, and this one is a good one too. It was a little rustic looking, but you know.
I think I'm ripping some big smoke.
Yeah, and
nice.
it's burning well too. The one I had over the weekend burned perfectly. So
Nice.
anyway, Fred, John, did you want to say something first?
Well, I was going to say, you mentioned construction
Yes.
just a minute ago. Uber rustic broadleaf, I would say.
Yeah.
And I mean, this thing's got ripples and veins and knots and gnarls, but that's the thing about broadleaf. It is so imperfectly perfect. That is just such a rough, oily, bumpy, veiny, meaty, beady, big and bouncy looking leaf.
Thick and toothy is normally a good
Yes.
Connecticut Broadleaf, and it stands up well. You know, you can. This is a cigar you could take on the golf course because you can kind of beat it up a little bit, and it's not going to fall apart on you.
It's very tough.
Thick and heavy smoke, thick and heavy leaf, so thick and heavy flavors. Fred, would you agree, disagree? What are your first impressions?
Very thick and heavy in the smoke itself. In the strength, definitely not. It hits me like very well, middle of the road, medium bodied, like perfect medium bodied. I really kind of dug the presentation on the box. Looks like, you know, like Don Draper's kind of admiring it in between affairs. You know, as you said, there's like not much, even though you said like there's a Peruvian Ligero in it, there's not much spice to it. It's very sweet from the Connecticut Broadleaf. It's very woody. I'm getting a lot of cedar, some earth, like a deep earth, and a little bit of like an oakiness on the aftertaste. Very well made. I didn't have any problems with the first cigar that I smoked, the baseline. The ash holds very tight. As you can see, the burn line is just like razor sharp. And you know, this is a very well-made cigar. It's not the prettiest to look at, the broadleaf, but it's tough and it gets the job done. It tastes phenomenal.
Does anybody really care about a pretty cigar? If you care about if your cigar is pretty, I don't know if you're in this for the right reasons. But like I said, yeah, this is toothy and it is tough and veiny. But I said you can really, like I said, take this. You could smoke this in a car, hanging out the window, be on the golf course, ride around. This is a cigar that could take a beating, but just the whole blend has a lot of flavor, and guys are gonna laugh, but I am getting the black licorice.
There it is.
Really?
Is getting it. I am
There it
getting it.
is.
Seriously, about
It's
an
not a
inch.
day.
Stop
an
eating
inch
candy with your
down.
cigars.
Hey, listen, a lot of
All
people get black licorice.
So this is the first time you're smoking the H. Upmann?
Yes, this
Mogul.
is actually, I forgot to say that. This is the first time I'm smoking it right
All
now.
right, so you're about half an inch, 3/4 of an inch in. On top of black licorice, what else do you sense?
Definitely spicy. Definitely.
Okay.
There's a woody sweetness. You know,
Yep.
when we always say
Yeah.
like a sweet wood.
I would agree with that.
And if you go,
Yes,
if you do
definitely.
that, like on your taste buds, you really taste that sweet wood. Right off the bat, you know, maybe about an inch in, it's extremely pleasant. I'd say it's medium bodied right now, but I know you guys were saying it kind of gets a little fuller.
Not much though.
Yeah, not a
Not
lot,
much.
but noticeably.
Yeah.
But not a ton. Like it doesn't all of a sudden part your hair.
I don't think it goes above medium.
I've had a couple of these, right? And personally, I find the Toro to be a little bit more flavorful than the Robusto size, right? But if you pay attention, I think you'll find more interesting nuances than you might expect.
Okay.
And they're all a series of like-minded flavors. Okay, so if you're paying attention and you're like really focused on smoking the cigar and seeing what you can pull out of it, you will probably at times black licorice. I will agree with you on that. Orange zest, dark coffee, leather, spice,
Wow.
charred oak, pepper, earth toast, and does anybody remember, or maybe your family did or didn't do this for Christmas? Remember they put cloves in an orange?
Never had that.
Never had that?
I've had honey
I've
that's
heard
a
of it,
clove
but
and
I've never-
orange.
You ever
honey.
had a cloved orange? They put cloves in an orange.
No, never.
And it's this clovey citrusy kind of aroma, and
Huh.
it's the cloved orange is very strong, but this is only mildly reminiscent of that in the background. Now, that's way over the deep end if you're really paying attention to this. If you're just sitting back and relaxing with the cigar, you're going to get a dark series of flavors, nice thick smoke, and a hearty broadleaf Maduro. And if that's all you want to get out of it, that's all you need to get out of it, and you will be very happy with what you get out of it if that's all you're in for getting out of
You
it.
know what? I am getting the
I would
citrus.
agree.
I couldn't
funny-
put my finger on that, but I definitely, when you mentioned citrus, it's there. It's nice, very pleasant.
I never got the citrus, but the sweetness I noticed kind of it started out like almost fruity in the beginning, and then it kind of moved more towards the woody side for me. But I did definitely pick up on that like coffee in the pre-light draw. I picked up on that very clearly, and the leather kind of hangs in the background.
Yeah.
I noticed too.
And that's like 12 flavors. Were they that distinct? No, there's just just maybe a little bit of it, and maybe just it's felt that way, or it reminded you of it just for a moment, or maybe for a little while. And it was one at a time. It wasn't like
Interesting.
all of a sudden 3 or 4 or 5. It was just like for a little bit, for a little bit, for a little bit, and it just went on transition to transition to transition. Some more noticeable than others. Some very, very passing, fleeting, and very mild. You may not even notice.
So what you're saying is this is a very complex cigar.
Yes,
I mean,
for
if-
me.
Okay. I would say that now I smoked the baseline on Saturday in my garage. I had no interruptions.
Yeah.
I was reading a book. I was relaxing. But as you were, ticking off all these different flavors, I said, you know what? Yeah. I mean, I think that really is in there. Now I'm kind of paying more attention to
Yeah.
it.
Well, will
Since
you
today.
will you find these?
You may or may
Maybe.
not, right.
Not necessarily, but
That's true.
having smoked, let's say, more than a fair share of the Mogul over the course of the past couple of weeks, I have noticed some of these flavors, and in doing the baseline review for this, I noticed a distinct succession of similar dark flavors, and if I had to pinpoint them, I
Okay.
would say they were closest to these kind of flavors as they went through.
And I would also agree with Fred. I'm getting a little bit of that, picking up that citrus kind of thing too.
I
But,
wished when I had Gary worked in that bathhouse, they had cigars like this.
See?
I think I would have been a little bit happier.
Kept you out of trouble, too.
Remember, he only worked there
They
to
didn't
make
tip you
college
in
money.
cigars?
Well, this was a better happy ending.
it was
right
legit.
here, I'm telling you.
What about the unhappy ending?
Involves a mousetrap. That's still the best line yet.
But anyway,
And isn't this a very cost-effective?
I was gonna say,
cigar?
we should talk
If
about
we
the
wanna
price.
use that term, cost-effective.
Yeah.
I think they average about $100-something a box.
Well, you got a box
Box
of
or
20
the jar?
Yeah.
and a jar, which is the vacuum sealed humid jar. This is an exclusive for Famous Smoke Shop. So here's the thing. I mean, you have the H. Upmann Vintage Cameroon. You have the H. Upmann, what was the other one?
Oh, the sun grown.
The Sun Grown. You know, some of these are a little bit on the pricier side. This is under $100, I think, for the box or for the jar, your choice. This one acts as its own humidor, which is a nice treat. And this is kind of an extension in the thinking of, you had H. Upmann Banker.
Yeah.
So this is even more money, I guess you could say. H. Upmann Mogul, but the difference is it is a complete contrast in cost, where H. Upmann Banker starts to go this way, H. Upmann Mogul starts to go this way. So you're talking more bang for buck value in terms of.
And I
It's a
think
bit of a
H.
modern
Upmann-
twist on like a classic brand.
Yeah, this is an H. Upmann you are not used to.
Is it time to wrap it up?
I think it is.
and
I think it is, Gary.
tell our audience what we really think of the cigar? I guess we'll go down the line and start with Fred. So
Okay.
he's gone pretty far, actually.
Have you?
Yeah.
Hey, look at you, Chuggington.
He's
pretty
Mr.
good.
Ash.
I'm part Chimney on my mom's
Mr.
side.
Long Ash.
Nice. What do you got? Bring us home.
Alrighty, so presentation-wise, construction-wise, very thick, toothy-looking, kind of veiny cigar wrapper. The Connecticut Broadleaf is very sweet. The Peruvian Ligero brings a little bit of a kick, but it's not overpowering. It's a very medium-bodied cigar. I think it's true medium for me. Nice and flavorful, very sweet, not overly complex. As you're digging away at these, you may notice a lot more subtle notes like John's picked up. You may start getting the citrus. You may just stick to, like my first cigar where I picked up, I mostly just got the cedar wood. But either way, it's a very sweet, not overly complex, and not gonna kill you kind of medium-bodied smoke. It's definitely like a modern twist on a classic cigar. And I think for the price point, it really brings that home.
Look at that. Just really extremely well rolled, packed with a lot of tobacco, but you could see the draw is fantastic on it. I'll go this way with it. If you want a cigar that is full flavored and you like dark and you like sweet, not a natural sweetness to it, not a fake sweet or sweet cap, but a natural sweetness to it. You want something that's at $5 a piece in a box or a little less, and has a lot of flavor, and you're just going to want to sit and enjoy. Do you care about all the complexity? Instead, if you don't really care, you just want a cigar that tastes really good and draws really well. This is really a nice cigar. This is, when we talk about great value, this isn't a value cigar, but it's great value.
Yeah.
When you put it all
And
together.
it's in its class, absolutely.
Coning like perfectly.
Hone that cone,
Yeah.
Fred.
Hone the
Yeah,
cone.
mine is too.
So far outweighs its price point.
Yes.
Is what you would
Yeah.
say.
Absolutely.
I say without a doubt.
All right. So like I said,
Much like you.
Look at that.
That's me. You
Look at
pay
that, Fred.
attention. Oh, look at you.
Yeah,
Kept
look
some
at that.
instruction here.
It's
Yeah.
well made, really
A
well
plus
made.
for-
yeah.
That
I mean-
Peruvian Ligero is right in the center.
I would say the draw on mine was actually a little on the tight side.
Yes, you did say that before
But
we started. Yeah.
still puffing away like a champ. No issues. Haven't had a draw
Perfect
poke.
burn.
Perfect burn. I have not ashed yet. I'm just taking my time with this one. But like I said before, you pay attention. I think you'll find some nuances that you might like. If you don't want to have to task yourself with paying close attention to your cigar other than enjoying it, I think you'll get an almost full-bodied, dark flavors, nice rustic Maduro that just tastes good. And especially with all those dark flavors coming in that series of succession, makes it a no-brainer pairing it with
Yeah,
coffee.
absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Or
No-brainer.
iced coffee.
Oh, yes.
You sure we thought that was a White Russian, Gary, because Gary thinks he's the dude.
He is the
I'm
dude.
meeting the Russian later. That's the attorney. She's smoking. Anyway, I would say this is what I would call a bilateral cigar. It could go either way.
Suddenly this took a PG-13 turn.
Wow. Exactly.
Tell
Is this
me
a
more.
coming out?
Well,
This cigar has a gender, you're saying?
yes, it's transitioning.
It's a closet
It's
moment.
constantly transitioning.
Tobacco sexual.
Yes.
Which is good in a way for a cigar because you want it to change and you want it to be interesting. No, but what I meant by that is the cigar. You could enjoy this after dinner. I mean, it's got enough meat in it, so to speak, to be a good hearty after dinner smoke and flavor. Or like Tommy said, you could just take this out on the course, or driving around town, or doing yard work, whatever, just to relax with and not even have to think about it much. I think that it's kind of an all-purpose cigar in some ways.
Okay.
Also the retrohale's really smooth.
Yeah.
And you get a little bit of that Peruvian pepper in there.
Okay.
but it's
Slightly
very
bright.
creamy. It's not super peppery.
know,
it's real smooth.
Now that you mentioned retrohale, I
Yeah.
did it twice on the baseline cigar, and the first
Mm-hmm.
time I did it about here, and I got a lot of sweetness and toast, like a toastiness. Further down, I got it around the last third, and it was very peppery. So I was wondering what I mean, that's just a huge transition, because I hadn't gotten pepper in it almost the
Yeah.
entire smoke up until that last retrohale. Anybody
will-
else retrohale it?
Just did.
Yeah, I did. I just did it for
I
a third
didn't.
time, and it's still very smooth. I will say one thing.
Big in your
And for
nose.
those of us who've already smoked the baseline cigar, I found that in the last third, the sweetness kind of trailed off, kind of faded into the background, and it was more of a woody, earthy kind of
Well,
smoke,
yeah, you
a
get
much
into those-
stronger smoke.
You get into
terms
those
of flavor.
the like-minded, darker flavors.
Yeah,
that just kind
yeah,
of
it
transition.
really
transition.
comes
Well, I'm
through
still
at the
getting
end.
that black licorice, and I just did a retro hill.
Okay.
I tasted that a lot.
All right, well, there you go. So,
To each his own.
Yeah.
And then there's Tommy.
hey, that's why it's
Cowboy.
very subjective.
Right.
All right, well,
Fred's new nickname is going to be Toast.
that wraps it
Toast.
up for the
Toast. Captain
H. Upmann
Toast.
Mogul. Again, it's exclusive at Famous Smoke Shop. It's available, I believe, in 3 sizes.
3 sizes.
We've got a Toro, a Churchill, and a
Robusto.
Robusto. Yeah, so
This is the Toro.
Because that's
Yeah.
interesting, because we've talked about this before. A lot of cigar companies aren't really making that many Churchills anymore. They choose to go for the 660.
yeah.
Yeah,
Just find that
that's true.
interesting. You know, a
bigger
660
gauges
would
have
have some
gotten more-
monster flavor, I think, but
Could be.
It could, yeah, this could work.
could do that.
All right,
Put
well,
that,
anyway.
Drop that one in the suggestion box, why don't you?
Sure. No, I want
That'd
my
be a good
job.
question. Churchills versus 60s. I like it.
Who said this?
Whose bright idea was this?
Well, it was E-Man, boss.
man in my office.
Why don't we get the hell out of here?
Okay.
All right.
You can see all of our reviews and other articles at cigaradvisor.com, and please follow us on Facebook. Don't forget about our Facebook live show every Wednesday afternoon at what time, Tommy?
3 p.m. Eastern Time,
Ish.
2 p.m. 3 p.m.-ish Eastern Time,
Yeah.
2 p.m.-ish Central, and 12 noon Pacific Time.
That's right. That's Facebook
We're live in our office, the 4 of us. We talk cigars, we answer your questions.
Right, and it's hosted by our friend Tommy over here, and we are also on Twitter, we are on YouTube, Instagram, and Pinterest. That's all for now. We'll see you soon. Join us for our next review. Thanks again, and happy smokes.